Welcome to Teachers Talking Teaching, where we celebrate and elevate the art of teaching.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Teachers Talking Teaching with Tracy and I. And this week we are excited to have with us Brenden Gallagher, who is kind of a jack of all trades, mostly film, a little bit of leadership, a little bit of language arts. So Brenden, we're really happy to have you this week and hear about how did you get into this world of teaching?
So I had a very non-traditional path into education. I remember my senior year in high school, so I graduated in 93 from Battle Mountain High School. I was helping coach some of the younger students on the debate team, and I thought, oh, this is so much fun. I could really see myself becoming a teacher after I retire from filmmaking. That was my whole mindset. And then a few years after school, after I'd gone to different colleges and done different film school things, I fell in love with my wife, and she asked me, so this whole filmmaking thing, how is that, when is that going to provide a consistent income, right? Because entry level in filmmaking, there's very little consistency on your income. So I said, well, I'd always wanted to teach when I retired from filmmaking. I'm just going to flip that. I'll teach now, and then I'll go back to filmmaking later. And so I ended up, we moved back to Colorado from Connecticut, and I took some classes at Front Range, and then Colorado State, got my undergrad, and eventually got my master's at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. Yep. Yeah. So then I was teaching for 4 years at Berthoud High School as a regular language arts teacher. I had 5 preps, and it was pretty brutal. Yeah. And I talked to all of the teachers who were retiring or later in their career. I said, hey, how do you crack this? How do you make this work? Because this does not feel sustainable to me. Too many essays, too much grading. Kind of a nightmare. What do I do? And most of them said, you've got to balance out your language arts with something else. You can't just teach language arts classes. So I was in my 4th year there. I was teaching the AP and pre-AP classes, which of course was even more writing. And I just thought, I don't know if I can keep doing this anymore with the schedule and the preps that I have. So then this position opened up at Fossil, which was language arts and video production. And I thought, I'm bringing my 2 loves together here. Right. This is perfect. Yeah. And so I applied and got the job, and it's been amazing since then. This is my 11th year at Fossil.
So did you open Fossil?
No, I was a little later. Okay.
But did you open the program then? Were you the first person to start the film?
No, actually, the person who started it was Will Allen. When he was teaching Spanish, he was also teaching video production. And then it got handed through a few different teachers. Jamie Menifee had it right before I was hired. And then I came on and I was able to take it over from him, which was great because he had so many kids who were really passionate about video production. So it was a great way to come in and start that work.
There aren't very many people who have that skill set, both video production and language arts teacher. So when you came into that role, did you have like a curriculum, a syllabus for the film part of the work?
Yeah, so this has been my blessing and curse. I came in knowing how they were making film and video in the industries, and I didn't know anything about how to teach it beyond what I'd experienced in film school, some of which was good and some was terrible. So I decided I was just going to have them start making videos, and that the only way to really learn was to do it. And I started unpacking as I was doing that and language arts simultaneously. I started unpacking what I was doing in language arts that were these inherited practices that didn't make any sense, because I was seeing how just having people do the work in film and video was suddenly engaging them in a way that I never was getting in a regular language arts class. And it changed my whole practice, all of my grading conversations, everything that I do. If I ever go back to just teaching language arts again, it will look like no person's language arts classroom.
Oh, interesting. So what would be one thing that's going to change?
Students would write a lot more for creative expression. I heard this great quote once that the goal of craft is perfection and the goal of art is expression. And we keep trying to drill into our heads on the craft, our students' heads on the craft piece. And it's just all about how can you be perfect in this? How can your grammar be perfect? Your sentence structure, your execution of this model that we're giving you. But we lose them so entirely because we're not engaging them on the expression piece. And the expression is the hook that makes all of the craft learning possible. So I say, what do you want to make a movie about? What projects are you interested in? And then let's figure out the craft that will make it something you can be proud of. But the craft should always be in service of the art, just like it is in professional work.
I think so much of kids are engaged in making their own social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram Reels, that anyway, that I think you engage them where they're at as well, certainly with this generation. So that's a great take on it. So
yeah, I'm lucky. It's nice to teach an attractive elective. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So many, I mean, it's funny today, I teach 5th grade, and to have kids actually say, when I grow up, I want to be a YouTuber. And, that's not a thing you could be when I was in 5th grade. So, yeah.
Entirely new pathway, career pathway.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before we started filming about the CTE pathway. Like, film is part of a CTE pathway. It's fine arts, it's language arts. So what's that experience been like for you to take film into that area of being more of a CTE focus?
So yeah, it's pretty messy right now. We're in the midst of the transition at Fossil, and the pathway that leads into film and video also leads into theater. So my introductory class is now going to be the gateway for both film and theater pathways. So I'm working with the theater teachers, with Kristen Rust and John Garner, to develop that course into more of a shared pathway. So I get to teach some tech theater, which is great because I haven't gotten to do that for a few years, and some acting, which I love teaching acting. So it's going to be a good experience. Meanwhile, all of our course names changed. Students have no idea what to sign up for. Our classes are completely imbalanced. We just went through our staffing model, and it's a really big mess. But all those things will ripple through. It just takes a few years for people to get used to the new thing. What I love about it, my number one complaint on the state side of things has always been that we're just not getting enough funding. And CTE is the one avenue right now that allows us to increase our funding within a school system. And since PSD just made the change where that funding can go directly back to the schools, there's just a huge incentive now for us to convert over. So that's going to create a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And they actually pay more for smaller class sizes. So which is brilliant.
That doesn't happen anywhere else. It's amazing.
And why is it? Because people in these industries know if you're teaching massive classes, students aren't learning effectively. It's weird how industry can get that, and we're just not having those conversations elsewhere in school. So yeah, it's been a huge benefit to us. A lot of classes made that wouldn't have otherwise. We got something like $300,000 more into Fossil's budget this year just because of those CTE refunds. So that's been awesome.
So when kids graduate from that program, they will have what exactly?
So depending on the course they're in, they should have an industry certification. They also have a better pathway into internships and work-based learning experiences. So now a student who goes way above and beyond the normal course requirements, in the past it was just,
Yay.
That's my superstar student. We were talking about Stephen Elias earlier, Silas, and what great work he did. And now I can give that student credit for an unpaid internship for the extra work that they're doing that goes way beyond the class requirements. And that shows up on their transcript and on their resume. And then people can see, oh, this is someone who's more capable than just a kid who got an A in a class.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you have to do with your credentials or education in order to be part of that CTE programming?
So this is where my work in film helped me so much. If you teach more than 50% of your content in the CTE field for 3 years or more, and you have a certain number of credits or work experience, then you automatically get this CTE certification. You just have to apply to the state. It was so fast. It was like 3 days, I think, after my application that they approved it. So it's been fantastic. All those schools I hopped around to, getting different film studies classes in, and nonlinear editing when that was a brand new thing, all of that, all helped me get this certification.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so if there's somebody maybe who's watching our podcast that is thinking they might like to be a teacher, it sounds like this could be a pathway for someone who's had a lot of career experience somewhere else.
Absolutely. And as you name, not a lot of people come in with a match of teaching and video experience. So, and at the same time, kids are growing up wanting to become YouTubers. This is the literacy of our age. And so we, in my opinion, obviously biased, I feel like we have to teach this in every high school. I think it's a huge mistake for us not to teach this level of media literacy. And again, literacy not as reading, but as creators, because it all has to come back down to creation.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
And also that piece of, just thinking about, you're already creating a potentially required course that kids are already gravitating to anyway. So when it comes to like the state, like keeping up with standards for media literacy or for film, is there work being done that supports educators like you to create, what is a foundational level understanding within media literacy?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to work with Ron Clark over at Rocky to develop our standards that we wanted to agree on within Poudre School District. The state is very low level and fundamental. It's just what's within the language arts requirements for media literacy, which is really boilerplate stuff. It's really simple. You don't need to do a lot of work to meet those standards. And then within CTE, unfortunately, a lot of those items are fairly outdated. I've read through things that talk about the difference between tape-based and hard drive-based media, and almost nobody uses tape-based media anymore. So there are a lot of those things that are just kind of outdated. So Ron and I, we got together over Summer Institute with Brenden Gallagher and a couple of other people, and we developed our own standards for Poudre School District that are much more rigorous and really are focused on the production process and understanding the process through which you create. And again, if you're creating and reflecting on that, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and there's no better vehicle for learning and growing.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. So great that both of your passions happen to collide into you becoming a teacher. Thank you so much for sharing your pathway with us and your genius as you work with high school students.
Genius is way overstating it, but you're very welcome. Thanks for letting me talk about it.
Yeah, and we'll talk some more on our next episode.
Awesome.
If you liked what you heard today, go to our Facebook page and like and subscribe. You can also go to YouTube and join our YouTube channel, as well as listen to us on your favorite podcasting app.